Monday is not a fun day. And Tuesday, another blues day. Wednesday's getting better, Thursday doesn't matter, and Friday is the last day. And then it's W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend.
It is W-E-E-K-E-N-D. What's up, children of the corn? It is just past 11 o'clock. And if it's just past 11 o'clock on a Saturday here in the beautiful, sunny, balmy city of Barcelona today, then you know it's time for your English program with me, your boy Lucas, here at the Club with Lucas and RCE Studios 106.9 FM right here in the beautiful city of Barcelona, as I said, downtown too. And it is a bit of a balmy day, but I am not alone in the studio because for the next approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes. I have a beautiful sister and cohort. In fact, she's a multi-hyphenate as well. She's an actor, she's a musician, she's a playwright, she's a producer. She's like a lot of things, you guys. And she's sitting right next to me, Lady Nikol Kollars, also known as Tesla Nixon, also known as so many other things, as I'm going to be describing. And we're going to be walking down memory lane with you today. Thank you for being here, babe.
Thank you for having me.
Girl, on top of that, it's been a hot minute since we've done a one-on-one together. In fact, it's been over 2 years. Last year we had you here with a small group for a play that was going on. Now we're going to be talking a lot about very personal obra a play that you have written called Fickle Eulogy. It's a monologue, but it's a drama with some hints and elements of comedy, you've said.
That's
monodrama. And we got so much to talk about,
yeah,
though.
So
okay. And a lot of music to share as well. We're going to keep it as close to the city as we can today because this is how we roll. We rolled back into 20 years ago with Weekend, but welcome back, everybody. Get your favorite poison out. Mine is only water today. It's vodka. This is Daddy's thermos. Don't drink from it.
Because you lost your coffee on the way.
So I only drink vodka or coffee. Now, I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you, Nicole, again for being here. Now, this is also going to be the summer's first English theater production, which is happening on at the end of the month, kicking off at Tinta Roja Teatro, which is in Puebla Sec as well. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Now, we're going to be talking about creative minds and getting into the process. That's what we want to do. That's what I would like to do, and I got the permission from Lady N to the K. So we're going to do that. We're also going to be supporting local artists, as I said, my loves. Remember, you can follow me at the Club with Lucas on Instagram, or the Club W Lucas on TwitX, whatever you want to call it, which is now full with porn, because why not? If you didn't know that, yeah, Elon Musk said, I'm going to take it a step further. And
Thus X.
Ching, I hadn't even thought of that. Anyway, so as long as we'll call it TwitX for the moment. You can also catch us with your eye holes on YouTube at RCE 106.9 FM and, of course, 106.9 FM all over Catalonia and always streaming at rce.cat. Watch us with your peepholes too. So much to serve up, news to use. Let's pitter paddle and get at her. There is a jam. We just had a gentleman on 2 weeks ago at a beautiful show at the Velvet Room, which was packed to the brim. Fill it to the rim with brim. But do you remember that? Fill it to the rim with brim?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
U-Ban? No.
No, it was.
Folgers.
I have no idea. But anyone who's an 80s, 90s kid, you know what I'm talking about. It's better than Senka, they promised. They lied. Anyway, Real Love by Eric Red. My homeboy, he's a DJ. He's a house legend, really, from where I hail. But he was born in LA, but really kicked it off in New York City. And he is going to be hanging out with a lady, Giselle, who is another friend, not yet of the show, but a queen of house music. And here's Real Love by Eric Red, who is now a BCN resident. We'll be right back in 3 minutes for a little bit of news you can use, children.
Somehow you're different. You unlock part of me. No more medicine needed for disease. Breaking the rules that I got deep in me. But baby, I feel you are packing on a breeze. But I won't, and I don't. 'Cause I'm now willing to wait. 'Cause I'm on love, real love, that keeps me home every night. 'Cause I'm on love, my love, that's falling inside and outside. I'm on love, real love, and the stuff that they talk all about. I'm on love, real love, my love. It's a crime that you're now good at this, hitting my greatest hits. This ain't normal shit. I'm so lonely and give it to anyone, but my heart's undone and I'm having fun. 'Cause I'm on love, real love, that keeps me home every night. I'm on love, my love, the kind that we toss in and outside. I'm on love, real love, what's on sight. I'm on love, real love, my It's about love. 'Cause I wanna know. It's about love. What you got for me. It's about love. You need to know. It's about love.
Eleven on the clock, 1111. That's always a good sign. And that was Eric Red, now BCN resident, transplanted from LA and New York City and residing here. And he will be doing a host of things in the years to come now that he's here. It's a beautiful summer to do it. So let's get to some news and clues and things of that nature because, you know, there's so much going on. In fact, I hope everybody is registered. If you are a European citizen, you have every bloody right to be voting in these European elections, which are coming up this weekend. I know a lot of people that have already voted, and so please do not let this go. It's very interesting that these elections are really coming into a contentious season. 2 weeks ago, of course, there was the throwdown between the Argentinian president, like, what the are you doing here? But we mustn't forget that the extreme right consortium was having their get-together. We'll call it a gathering because they are like wizards and witches in Madrid. And so, yeah, why not pop up in there? Now, I'm so happy to say, speaking of horrible people on the right, there is a gentleman who was the campaign advisor for Donald Trump back in the day, and his name is Steve Bannon. He has been sentenced to jail, and he will be going to prison starting July 1st. That's a good thing. Another thing that is good is that Alex Jones, who has been running a show out of Austin, Texas, shout out Longhorns, hook 'em. I was one, I am one. But Alex Jones' InfoWars has gone bust, and he went viral, freaking out at the beginning of the week, and it made me moist. It was incredible. No, I've been so busy with so much going on, and I had not put anything on the Instagram. And I had to share this because the man had a meltdown. Because what happened what happened was this man said about 14 years ago that a shooting that happened in the Northeast in a elementary school in the United States called Sandy Hook was a false flag, and there was a front, and that it was not real. And the parents who lost their kids had to come with evidence. And we have to think, when kids get shot up by AR-15s, there's little evidence. Okay, they are blown away, literally disintegrated. And so I don't know if this is what happened here, but it happens a lot. In fact, now in the United States of America, where both Nicole and I hail from, number one. We're number one. More kids die of gun violence every year than total military and police officers are gunned down every year. More kids. Over 2,000 a year, by the way. Nearly 2,000 a year, excuse me. Anyway, he is going bust, and sometime in the next days, 2 weeks, he will no longer be in existence. After 27 years, I believe, what he's had to do is liquidate all of his assets, and everything is going to being divvied up between the families that he defamed for years and years and years. Epoch Times is another thing. It was originally part of something that is called Fulangong, and they have been promoting themselves as the number one real news center. Like, you see these on billboards all over New York City. As someone who grew up there, let me tell you, you get this next to you, like you can get it for free. And I think maybe you have to pay for it now, but well, they've gone bust too, because it was revealed by a federal investigation that they've been running a sham operation via crypto, where they were using prepaid debit cards at they would pay for a reduced rate off a crypto thing on the black, what is it called? Dark web. And they would take this and sell it at full price. And that's how they've been funneling all of their ridiculousness for years and right-wing conspiracy theories. And they have gone bust as well. So it also is being thrown down into all of this is happening in the last few days. Amidst this major case, it looks like its editors could face up to 30 years in prison. As well as, and I want to make one more mention of this, there's a documentary that went out about the 2020 election called 2,000 Mules. And it was produced by an East Asian American producer-director who claimed to have put all this together in evidence in a 90-minute documentary that the election was stolen and people were, with those boxes and things that were candies were actually, they were saying that they were chips and what are they called? Because we don't use them anymore. Ballots, but using as these chips for the computers, and it was actually Thin Mints that they were passing around. Because a mother-daughter who then sued Donald Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, my ex-mayor, and now he has gone bankrupt as well and is hawking coffee. That's what he's doing right now. He's also losing his podcast. It makes me feel good, but because we need to talk about this, because right now, the 2024 elections in Europe are happening. And let me say this. Emmanuel Macron, Pedro Sanchez, they may have, rights, the power right now in Spain and France, but it's the National Front and the PP who have more seats in the European Parliament, and they represent us. And when we have people like that who lean towards these types of mindsets and who gather together in their gatherings in Madrid, we have to be aware that this is not just happening in one little vacuum. They may live in their little vacuum, but this is a pervasive populist movement that has been going on for years and years and years, and people need to wake up. Speaking of waking up, it looks like the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak should wake up and just have some coffee that I didn't bring today. Oh, God! But He left. It was yesterday. The other day, 2 days ago was the 80th anniversary of D-Day, when America, we came in the Normandy beaches and stormed the fronts. We saved your asses. Well, not here in Spain, of course, because they had their own drama to deal with. Franco was fun. And at that time, though, this was a major thing. We have to think about this, though. 80 years ago, 17, 18, and 19-year-old kids. I don't know if you have kids that age, but I deal with uni kids that age, and I know that they would not storm any beach to save their country. In fact, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but as someone who is forever 39, don't question me. I do think of my future. And I get concerned when I read sociological reports that state that our current Generation X is the least intelligent generation in record, mostly because they don't have a lot of historical, political, or cultural history. They know, Netflix and some streaming and TikTok and reggaeton, but they don't know who Gershwin was. They don't have any idea about Tchaikovsky or Debussy or never read Shakespeare or Cervantes. They don't know who Kate fucking Bush is, okay? And when this stuff, they do actually, because of Stranger Things. Thank you. So that's a good thing. Thank you, Netflix. Oh my God, 11, you'll save me. Millie Bobby Brown, please divorce that man. Anyway, but this is real shit. And so when you see other leaders of other nations like President Grandpa Biden and Vladimir Zelensky, who are having these beautiful moments with men, and I have to repeat Stephen Colbert's joke. It was a strong day for our country because for once Joe Biden looked younger. And it was a beautiful thing, the way there was so much emotion going on. And what I loved was the display of this type of emotion and love and kissing and hugging between men, adult men, because we don't see that so often. And I think we need to normalize that type of gratitude, affection, respect amongst men where they can hug and they don't have to hit each other when they hug. Something that I don't know what's wrong with you straight boys, but whatever, I get it. 8 and 10, we know the statistics. Thank you very much. I follow Kinski, or who was that man who did those reports in the 50s? Anyway, so it was a beautiful thing. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Netanyahu continues to screw up the region, and he has gone ahead into Rafah. Now, they have not destroyed it yet, but this is also putting Grandpa Joe Biden into a major rock and a hard place, because at the same time, we do have rampant, around Canada too, and even I believe the Tech Institute in Mexico, there's protests going on like crazy, because we have to realize when countries like Norway, Spain, and Ireland last week were the 3 countries to come forward and say in the European Union, in the United Nations, this Palestine state is a full recognized country by us. And I just have to give it up again to Pedro Sanchez. I also have to make mention that Spain is still, I don't know, I think 2 quarters now, the most stable economy in all of Europe right now. Now, what I believe he's doing is actually he just studies what President Grandpa does in the States and does that plan ibérico, es en plan como aquí, es que de la marinera. But it's working, it's working over here. But at the same time, the forces of evil are abounding. And so I want to read a few things. I'm kind of kidding. Because over here back in the land of Spain, in Catalonia, justices are preparing for the uncertain and unequal complex path of the implementation of the now voted-in amnesty law that was voted in a few days ago by only a margin of 5 votes in favor of it. I like to remind everybody that in the time of the transition, post-Franco and before the constitutional signage of 78 and, of course, 79, the whole transition was amnesty. We gave amnesty to all of the military, all of the Falange, all of the people who had killed and then formed the Pepe party, which at the time, remember, was called Alianza Popular. They changed it in 89 after Tiananmen Square on the wall went down in Germany to Pepe. But they were alliance with who? With the Falange, but whatever. European Union, they shouldn't exist. But anyway, Yeah, the whole thing was amnesty. So this is not a new thing. We gave amnesty to the king when he shimmied off the ex-king, whatever, to the United Arab Emirates, JC, not Jesus Christ, superstar, and we gave him amnesty. We gave the family amnesty when Infanta Cristina said 420 times, 420 shout out, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. We gave them amnesty. So this is a part of our history since the signing of the Constitution and the death of that bastard. Well, it's going up in arms, and of course, the justices of the peace of the Supreme Court are going to be taking this up with prosecutors to see why. Because they have been collecting a lot of cases against persons like Puigdemont for quite a long time. And while there could be declared amnesty, they do wonder if there could be some individualized issues that need to be addressed. Of course, at the moment, Carles Puigdemont is still a representative in the European Union Parliament, and I will say no more, but please look up the history of his political party and slave history, starting from 1830, because it was Carles Pujol's family and Artur Mas's family who took the slave trade from England and brought them to Catalonia until 1900. In fact, they built this studio area that I'm sitting around here in Ensanche. So if you don't know that, now you know, to quote Biggie. And last but not least, these European elections, I had mentioned them at the very beginning. There have been a lot of attacks by right-wing supporters on left-wing politicians all over. In Mannheim, Germany, over here as well in Catalonia, actually. And there seems to be a polarization what's going on with a lot of those Nordic countries that are also involved with this as well, because recently in Austria, recently in Amsterdam, and in the Dutch region, the right has completely taken over. And so what they're saying, these reports that are coming out of the US and the UK is saying that this polarization is parallel to that was experienced during the 60s and 70s during the years of the May 1968 revolt. And of course, those included European states such as Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Greece, all reaching these levels just as they did in the late 70s as well. So folks, you know, if you see something, say something, but do keep yourself aware, because this is not just something that happens in the United States. Thank God we don't have the access to guns, right? Guns are fun. But I want to get back to some music. I want to do a little bit of stuff because we've got so much to talk to with Lady Nikol, Lady Tesla Nix, so much to talk about anyway. So we're going to throw a little bit of Tesla Nix out because I got the chance a few months ago, to see this video throw out. And you can also catch this anywhere where good videos are streamed, like YouTube, and anywhere good music is streamed, like Spotify and Apple and Google. And this is Got a Break, because I got a break right now because I've been talking. I got to take a little sip of water. This is Got a Break with Tesla Nix, and we'll be right back in 3 minutes with her.
Ooh, into the depths you go. You've lost the feeling, baby. Like a feather in the wind, wherever it flows. And all is said and done, where are we now? How we faltered from the simpleness, couldn't bother to back down. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way. Free, free, free. Oh, oh. Oh, oh. Ooh, your walls are bright. I wanna break them down and see inside. I gotta mix it up, decipher your words, give it some meaning to this mess. How we faltered from the simpleness, couldn't bother to back down. Got to break these chains. Best be on my way.
break free. Yeah. That was Tessa Nix, and you can catch that where all good music is streamed as well, and that's Nix as in Nix, not like Stevie. Lady Nicole, thank you so much for being here and for joining us on the club, to the R, to the E, to the C, to the E, and 106.9 FM. And folks, you can follow us and listen to us there. I think you are if you're listening right now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, girl. We've got a lot to get to in the next hour and a half. As well as we're going to go down memory lane with some different formats of music and different genres of styles of music that you've done as well, and things that you've done over the years that I was not even aware of until you sent those links.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know Nicole and Tesla, and I didn't know some of this other stuff. And of course, the work you've done with some of the girls as well.
Sure.
But I'm talking too much. Take it away, girl. Take it away.
What? I don't know. I mean, I also forget too, and until I just sit and go, what have I done? What have I done with my...
You've obviously started as a teenager doing these things. And when you... Well, let's start with the nitty gritty, because that's where we like to start anyway. What was the first thing that you felt when you knew you had to do something in the creative arts? Like, what was something that really propelled that moment for you? Do you remember?
For sure, as a kid with my sisters, we would perform for our parents. We do talent shows. So, I played the flute, and my sister would dance and play the piano and that kind of thing. And then,
You played the flute as well?
Yes, I still have it. It's actually my mom's flute. I played it in middle school.
Okay, well, we got a lot to talk to. We're going to talk about mom.
Did you play the flute too?
No. But here they make every kid learn to play the flute. Or a flute, like it's actually the recorder. I think
Recorder, right?
Yeah.
It's the...
But they all have to learn to play that for future use.
For, in case you need it.
I'm kidding.
In case you need to join the marching band.
There was a double entendre there, but nobody got it. Thank God. But... So already, now I'm going to ask, how old were you when you were doing these little plays and performances?
Oh, yeah, young, 8, 9, 10 years old, for
exactly.
sure. But then I joined the choir in middle school, and that changed everything. I used to sit by the speaker, huge speaker, and sing into my hand so I could hear myself sing to Olivia Newton-John, all those, Michael Jackson, but mostly Olivia Newton-John because, probably female voice.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I had a means of expressing myself with other people, and I got my first solo in middle school. And I remember my parents were there, and I sang Michelle because my youngest sister's named Michelle, and she was a baby, at that time. And my parents were crying, and they said, we didn't know you could sing. So that was that. And then I just kept on singing.
Okay, so was there something then with the adulation and the happiness from the family that also helped propel that?
Absolutely,
as
yeah.
well?
To see them emotional and to see someone move so much, especially your parents.
Do you think they would have supported if you had been a male?
I don't
so
know.
much?
I
wonder.
I don't know. It might have gone more of the sports because I was
Well,
very
weren't
much.
you also sportive?
I was very sporty.
Yeah.
I played volleyball until university.
Yeah.
They were very proud of that too.
Exactly.
So yeah, of course.
I loved volleyball. I excelled at that actually too.
So if we can play then, let's
Yeah,
go to
we
the beach.
totally could.
Let's go after this
I
and
haven't
play.
played in years, girl.
It'll come back to you.
It's like riding a bike or sex. But
However, when I play on the beach, I have to be careful because if you do the wrong, because like your mind thinks you can do the same things your
as in
body
the
can do
field.
as
I'm a fielder. Yeah.
But then the sciatica comes back. You know.
No,
and you-
what we're talking about. We're so young, thin, and gorgeous, love.
Yeah. The body says no.
I've felt that as someone who's 39. And it's weird when you
22.
start to feel that, right?
Yeah, it's horrible.
That late 30s touches on there. But okay, because you did stuff in the States, of course, you've done so much across here, all over Catalonia, Spain, but in Europe, you just got back from Madrid. So again, thank you for being here.
Oh.
But, and Madrid, for some reason, have you noticed they say that when you're there?
Madrid.
Some people
Yes.
say Madrid.
Yes, of course.
Eso de aquí, de Madrid.
De Madrid.
It's interesting and annoying at the same
España.
time. But it's like a lisp and impediment at the same time.
It's inhaling the.
Your teeth will slip in the tooth. But what brought you to Barcelona? I remember you told us a couple of years ago when we first graced us here, but what brought you originally here to be to the CN?
Originally, I was visiting. I had a friend of a friend who was studying, and I wanted to check out what was going on in Barcelona. And what happened was I happened to have had a friend who was also visiting, who had a boyfriend, who had a friend who was living here already, and I happened to have fallen in love with him. And then we went to Ibiza, and then we fell in love even more. And then I missed my airplane back to Seattle where I was living. But then I eventually went back and sold my car and my everything and came back with 2 suitcases, the 2 suitcases that don't roll. Remember back then they didn't roll. And then I started my life here 23 years ago.
Madonna. Now, what I didn't know was the Seattle part. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Lots of music in Seattle. I was
Exactly.
doing a lot
So-
of music there.
Was the style of music reminiscent of what was so common between the 90s and 2000s of Seattle?
What do you mean? The
Because
grunge?
because when you think of the grunge, the alternative rock scene of Seattle, the indie rock scene of Seattle,
It was
it's
awesome.
my God.
It was awesome.
Okay, I think of Sub Pop records and
Yeah.
things of that nature. My God, you know,
It was awesome.
Astral Works, and so everything popping out of that time. So when you did you do that style of music as well?
I kind of came in at the tail end of it because
Okay.
of my age.
It was the tail end, yeah,
Let's not do too
exactly.
many numbers, but I was, coming at the tail end. And I started, actually, the very first thing that I did was answer an ad, classified ad, of this guy looking for a singer because he was doing Nirvana style music. And I had my first gig in a cafe. We wrote songs, and it was, I wish I had a copy of that, but it didn't go well. And then I followed my instincts and started doing more jazz, hip hop, soul, funk. And then I was completely in this whole beautiful world of music.
Okay, well, let's focus on that then. Before like I said earlier, folks, we're going to be walking through memory lane, and I wanted to get to something called Strange Voices.
Oh my gosh.
But what was an influence for you as someone who grew up, between the 80s and 2000s? What was the influence for you as a little kid to young adulthood?
Well, okay, so I grew up, I identify more with the 70s because I love the music from the 70s.
Okay,
I
that's
think
my obsession. But I didn't get to live the 70s, so I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Obsessissimo.
I mean, I was young in the 70s, so but my
Totally.
parents and you hear on the radio and
was
stuff.
one.
But I always go back to the 70s. The soul, the rock, all of it is. I think it's wonderful.
What is it about the 70s and 90s? The 70s that
90s, no. I'm sorry. We'd have to have a debate on that.
okay, we'll talk
we
later
should.
when we get coffee.
Yeah.
But what is it about the 70s do you think that propelled so much in regards to music and experimentation in music, frankly?
Yeah, post Vietnam, maybe the ability to say what you wanted to say. The musicality, the songwriting was so good. And they were real artists, musicians. I'm not saying that, later on they weren't, but there's something about the craft of a song and the craft of telling a story. And people listened
And
as
the
well.
instrumentation
And
with
the
it.
instrumentation, it's so good. I don't know. It was just that time of humanity, a time in the United States as well, but also in Europe. Beautiful music came from that time.
What would you say were some artists that influenced that?
Influenced,
The type of stuff that you like listen to from the 70s?
oh,
specific artists.
Fleetwood Mac, Toto.
Really?
Yeah, I
I didn't know
realized-
that Toto had done Georgie Porgy.
I know, it's such a great. I want to do a version of that song. It's such a great band. And Rosanna. If you listen to that song and listen to the drum, they named that drum beat because it's such a unique drum beat. It's called something swing. I think it's named after the drummer. It's such a beautiful drum beat. You should just
from that
listen to Rosanna and listen to the drum beat. It's got this swing that no one else has ever done.
My sister's
It's
a musician, and
beautiful.
she loved the musicality of Toto. So when I was a little kid, and I mean like 2, 3, 4 years old in the early 80s, she would listen to that, and I don't know why I thought Georgie Porgy was but done by like the OJs
Yeah.
or the Spinners, or I thought
Yeah.
I did not realize that it was these funky white brothers. That I mean,
And he could sing. His voice. What
they're
control.
still together actually, and I believe that they're doing a lot of those bands from this 80s.
go see them.
They're reforming. Tell
They are
me when.
coming. Toto is coming
Are you kidding me?
very soon.
Toto is coming to Barcelona. Okay, we're gonna have to look that up. Madonna, because I know Tears for Fears have been doing some stuff. There's
Yeah,
another
I love
one
them
that
too.
I love.
Duran Duran, I love
oh
them.
my God.
That was 80s though.
And folks, by the way, Sonar is popping off next week, and Air, French band, is going to be performing their entire Moon Safari instrumentalized together. They haven't done anything together in years and years, and they're going to be doing it. Jesse Ware is going to be there on Friday as well. Kate Renata. There's so many. Richie Houghton, Laurent
yeah.
Garnier.
We're going.
He's my French daddy.
We're gonna go
He
see
has
him.
no idea. I love Laurent Garnier.
You should come with us. We're going to go see him. Richie Houghton. We're going. You're
Okay,
going.
and then parlare, but you can still get your tickets. Now, I have to say, after tomorrow, I think the tickets are going up in price, so pay attention to that. Can you tell us really quickly about Strange Voices, please?
Strange Voices was my
Yeah.
first real official music group. It was just another producer, he and I. And it was the first actual album that I ever released. And it went out on a record label that was... It was affiliated with, actually, Sub Pop was, well, they're all connected, but it was a very independent label that,
Out of Seattle.
out of Seattle.
Hell yeah.
And at that time, Portishead came out. It changed my life. Massive Attack changed my life.
Hell yeah.
And so I was highly
Testify. Yes.
highly influenced by them.
Okay.
Loved them. So you can probably hear some of that in there.
Well, so let's take a listen to it because we're taking our start at the end of Memory Lane, and this is Lady Nikol Kollars and Strange Voices. We'll be right back in 3.5 minutes.
What did you choose?
I close my eyes for a 7-hour bleed, and within
We're going to continue this beautiful walk down memory lane, and that was Strange Voices as well. But yeah, you were just totally serving up the trip hop
Sure.
of that time.
Absolutely.
And oh, how I wish it were there that time. But let's talk about this time, because you also have, as we said, this summer's first production in English is going to be popping off on the 28th of the month in June at La Tinta Roja in Pueblo Sec. And it is a labor of love that you have created and produced, are starring in, called Fickle Eulogy. Now, that is such an interesting combination of two words, you know? And firstly, eulogy is always something that is not the happiest moment, but sometimes it can be. It can be a look back if it's a sweet time. What you were referencing was not a sweet time in the world. And so if we can talk about that, and I don't know, we don't want to give out too much because we want everybody to get there. You can also get your tickets. We're going to be throwing out those links all month long as well here at RCE 106.9 and at the Club with Lucas. But tell us about this monodrama, please, because this is not easy to write, produce, direct, create, star in.
I'm not directing it.
Oh, you're not?
I had to
Okay.
have someone very special direct it.
Please tell us about this.
Wow. Yeah. It's where do I even start? I wrote this after my mom's passing in 2021, and she passed from complications from COVID-19. And I of course was writing throughout my life, writing songs mostly, writing poems and that kind of thing. But this kind of wanted to become something else. And since I have been acting as well, I'm an actress, it kind of lent itself to sharing on in a different way. So I wrote it just by means to process what happened. Because, you know, in any death, especially if it's a parent, now that I know, it's not the easiest thing to go through, and every emotion that you can think of is experienced. And I put that into Fickle Eulogy, and I had to, of course, separate myself, create this character, and say what I wanted to say through this character, because it's so charged with so many things. There's anger there, there's frustration, there's deep sadness, there's regret. That's a big one.
Why, if I may ask? Why regret is a big one?
Regret because I live so far away from my family. I made the choice to be very far away from my family. And I, in general, try to go once a year. I hadn't gone for 2 years already before the pandemic. And so the pandemic hit, and
Couldn't go.
I couldn't go. So I hadn't seen my mom for, you know, I don't know, 4 years. And so she saw my son at a certain age, and he changed so much. He changed so much during the pandemic. Anyway, so there's a lot of regret there. There's also a lot of regret on, you know, anyone who's lost someone, you think of all of the what ifs. What if I had done this? What if I had said this? What if I forced that person to do this? Or, I don't know. There's a whole list of things. So I wanted to address that. I wanted to get that out. And in doing so, Fickle Eulogy was created.
Wow.
So
That time, you know, when we think back at that time and what we look back at what we've survived in these last 4 years, because it is a collective thing that has happened across the world over. In our country from whence we hail and where we were born, about nearly 21% of all the recorded deaths in the world happened in our country, which is not even 5% of the world's population, and yet we took over 4 times the amount of deaths. Misinformation created that and spawned something that happened that helped you create Fickle Eulogy.
yes, I address that definitely.
And when you, I don't know, we are non-white citizens of the United States of America. And when you come from families like ours, who are also, I'm presuming they were conservative Republicans.
Yes.
It becomes a very triggered and charged issue within the family, I have found. I don't know about all of your brothers and sisters, but all of mine were very much, you know, pragmatic voters, but very left and sometimes extreme left. Not extreme left, but far left. Yeah, we're very liberal. And my two parents were not. And my father, having three gay sons, has moved very staunchly into the center left and is enjoying the benefits of being a European resident.
Oh.
But how do you deal with that? Well, okay, again, without giving away too much of the story, in the product that you've created, in the work rather that you've created, excuse me.
How do I deal with that? Well, it's interesting because many years ago I realized that it was not a good idea to ever talk politics or socioeconomic situation with my parents. I learned to do that pretty quickly after having, grown up a bit and living in Europe. So I realized I'm not going to have any kind of conversation about it. And sometimes I could feel myself, my blood boiling, and I could hear my mom
About politics and social stuff.
my mom would just recycle what she hears, and it was just so easy to recycle. It's so easy to say what you've. Oh, I read this. I think, yeah, but where did you read it? Where did it come from? Let's be know where your sources are coming from. Mm-hmm. But it was never got to that point, so I had to quickly just go kind of defer and talk about other things. And in doing so, knowing full well what decisions they made when it comes to COVID-19 and that kind of thing, it was more of just like, okay, the decisions are made. I respect it, respect everyone. But because of that, in my eyes, there's a grave, results
and
loss. So, but then there's always that doubt too. I mean, because, what do we really know? We know so much out of, scientific studies and that kind of thing. We must trust. It's a big thing about trust, right? Mm-hmm. But there's always this doubt of what if? Mm-hmm. What if?
This week as well, I believe in our country, there was the congressional forums that were held with Dr. Anthony Fauci and Marjorie Taylor Greene would refuse to.
I call you Mister. I don't call you Doctor. You don't deserve
doctor.
And so what we can conclude is that they do not know, or they say that they do not know if it was from a wet, animal market or if it was something that sprayed. I just want to. I'm going to throw my X-Files conspiracy theory out there.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, but I just read there's a New York Times article talking about that it did come from a lab. So,
All I'm going to say is that the World Military Games happen every 4 years.
There's a pattern there, isn't there?
And when all of the world leaders of countries' militaries go and play Olympic-style games together every 4 years, and it just happens to be in Wuhan in 2019, weeks before the breakout, days rather.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that it gets. But where did the sources come from? They did actually come from The Independent, BBC, CNN, because all of this stuff has been talked about, but then, things get overlooked because we don't know.
Yep.
When you have to deal with that type of loss in your family, and my mother died the week of the confinement. So there was no El Prat. It was closed. There was no flying anywhere. No. And when you lose that, you have to do that radical acceptance. And I hadn't seen her in 4 years as well. So it's like, I know I'm going to lose it at the show. So I'll sit to the side and cry. So when you deal with that situation, do you go through any acting training that you have to go through to not break down in tears? I'm just wondering, like, how you not break down.
I mean, I fortunately have gone through some training to know how to be able to access it, but also to be able to overcome it when needed.
When it comes up here.
When it comes up here, but the thing is, the way that it's written and the way that it's going to be shared, it's okay. It's okay to let that happen. And it's okay for, it's giving permission for myself and for everyone who's going to experience it with me to feel what they need to feel.
Amen.
And let it out.
Okay, so folks, we're going to get to a little bit of music right now, also by Lady Nikol. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very moving and necessary experience and probably therapeutic for a lot of us. So that, again, is going to be popping off at 8 o'clock on the 28th of June at Tinta Roja BCN. You can get those tickets through that, as well as all of the links we're going to be throwing out over the next couple of weeks. This is a version called Fly Me to the Moon by an outfit you called Output.
Output. It's actually a recording studio by amazing musicians in Barcelona called BSO. Banda Sonora Original,
I know,
and they
yes,
do
I know.
amazing music and banda sonoras, what do we call that?
Exactly. Soundtracks.
Soundtracks and music for adverts and everything. So we did that album.
And this is Output, and this takes a jazzy spin on a few things. Does this one take a jazzy spin?
Yes,
As I recall.
it's also got some ethereal sounds to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so why the mixes of the genres? Why have you always mixed genres?
I don't know because I'm mixed myself.
Even as Tesla...
I'm mixed,
Hello.
so why not?
Even Tesla Nicks, and that's the... Thank you for doing Tesla Nicks, 'cause it does bring back some of that experimental sound from 20, 25... Dummy, actually, by Portishead, is 30 years old this year.
Love that album, so good.
Dummy is 30 years old.
30.
30, like me. This is Fly Me to the Moon by Lady Nikol and Output from BSO Studios. We'll be right back in 3 minutes, everybody.
Fly me to the moon, let me sing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, and I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon, let me sing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you. I love you. I love you.
You Are Loved.
Aw.
And that was Fly Me to the Moon, which actually, I have to say, was actually one of my mother's favorite standards.
The Frank Sinatra version.
The Fly Me to the Moon and the Shadow of Your Smile. I kind of want to say the Astrid Gilberto versions, but maybe that's my love of Astrid. But that time, you know,
Beautiful.
and music. All right, let's get back to a few more questions I've got lined up. So many for you. Doing the execution of this character, you said that it's going to be free. Is it a character? Is it you? May I ask? Are you allowed to say this?
It's a character that is very close to me, but because it is not all of me, this character is allowed to do and say many things that I wouldn't do or say. And that being said, she actually goes into quite a different multiple characters. So that's fickle.
Yeah.
The word fickle. So she, who knows, maybe she's schizophrenic. She's just trying to figure out a way to cope. So she finds different characters to say what she wants to say, but then eventually she knows what she should say.
When when you get to act out these types of different things that you wouldn't normally say, so you say, in real life, are you exorcising any demons? And this is also part of the process?
Oh, yes,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Can we talk a little bit about that? The exorcising process, the exorcising process in acting?
What a beautiful way to be able to express yourself through an art form that there's permission to do it. You are allowed to do it, and therefore, once you've gone through this character and you come back out into yourself, say, "Wow, that was exhilarating. I want to do that again." And yeah, I mean it's very therapeutic, and it's interesting because when you're a performer and you perform it over and over again, that's also a different kind of exercise where you're like, okay, sometimes me, Nicole, my mind and my body doesn't necessarily want to go to those dark places all the time. So that's the practice of an actor. So it can be tough sometimes, you know.
You mentioned a director of like 20 minutes ago. Who is this person that you worked with to help you go through some of this stuff?
He happens to be my acting teacher. I went through the Meisner Technique program
The
here.
Meisner Technique
Meisner
here.
Technique here, and he's the founder of the Meisner Technique in Spain. His name is Javier Galito Cava. He's an amazing human being, and because I went through the whole program with him and trust him and know how he works, I actually said to him when I had Fickle Eulogy in its baby stages, and I said, you know, I have something that I've written. Would you like to, I would like you to go over it and see what you think. And so he started off being kind of like a coach in dramaturgy. Dramaturgy, did I pronounce it that way? And so it was a great process. And somewhere along the way, I said, because I know he's a director as well. He's an actor and director. And I said, would you like to direct it? And he said, yes. And I was I was floored because I don't imagine anyone else directing this play with me because it's so intense, so personal, so intimate. And he also lost his mother a few years ago as
Did you
well.
say his last name is Cava?
Cava, Galito Cava.
C-A-V-A?
Yes.
Because my name's Cavazos.
Wow.
C-A-V-A-Z-O-S, Z-O-S. And Cava, we all love Cava. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish we had some right now, actually. With this conversation, were there moments when he was directing, when you were going through this, where there were breakdowns? I'm just wondering.
Breakdowns.
Like crying.
Oh,
like
gosh, yes, of
shedding,
course.
and you have
Absolutely.
to hold each other.
Yes.
Because if he went through that too, then
Yes.
he knows. Was it also COVID, if I may ask?
No.
Okay,
No,
mine
it was-
wasn't either, but still, it was the time.
Sure. For him, his mother was in her, she was late 80s, I think, and it was old age. But, you know, still there's
It's
this.
the
There's something
loss.
about a mother.
And during this time, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
May I ask, and I don't want to get too personal, but we like to do that here. How was your relationship with your mom?
It was a good relationship. I think we could have talked a lot more. I know that I have 3 sisters. I'm the oldest.
Wow.
And I know that
All sisters?
Yeah.
Is your dad okay?
He's softened up. Thankfully, his 4 daughters are still around and have
Amen.
children, so it
Amen.
keeps him going. But what was the question?
Your relationship with mom?
Yes, it was good. I wish, of course, in hindsight and regrets, I wish that we had spoken more. I know that she spoke a lot with my other 3 sisters.
Okay. Because
Especially-
they're still in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But even so, I mean, the youngest moved back to Hawaii, and they would probably talk every day. So there's a part of me that wishes that I had spoken with her more, at least. There's always that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about quite a bit, but yeah, I don't want to start crying.
No, exactly. I had a lot of I was, of the 3 brothers, I was the closest to my mom, so we talked all the time.
Yeah.
And towards the end, when she died of kidney failure, and she was losing, dementia sets in, but it's a painless death, thank God.
Oh, okay.
When it's with kidneys. Sarah Silverman's daddy died of the same thing
Oh, wow.
recently. And she talks about that a lot in her podcast, about the process, the grieving process, and how you go through that. obviously, Fickle Eulogy is a creation from that process.
Yes.
Were you in any type of counseling, spiritual therapy, emotional, anything like that during the time? I'm just wondering.
It's interesting. No, but I had done therapy in my life, in my past, and for some reason, I still have not. There were moments where I thought, it's time to go back into therapy, and I have no problem with it. I think it's great, but I think at that moment, that's when I started writing, and I also do other self. I take care of myself as much as I can, and I have my ways of going through the process, but doesn't mean that I won't consider, seeking help again, because I think that once I start performing this, I think it's going to bring up a lot of other things as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Also maybe bringing up other inspirations to write other things now that you've got
Yes.
one out of the way.
Yes.
Okay. Like look at my segue, y'all. Like the other variations of music that you've done. Drop it, y'all. Okay, hold on, because now we're gonna get to another outfit that you were in called Delish.
Oh gosh, yeah, delish.
And the song that I chose when I went through it yesterday was "Let Me Out."
Oh, okay.
And even from the title, you can already probably see where that was going. But can you tell us a little bit about this project, this musical project?
Another project that came from Seattle. It was a friend of mine who was a musician, guitarist, who also produced some music, and we just got together and jammed and recorded stuff, and it was a lot of gibberish, and
And that's where the songs come from. Oh my God,
It
gibberish
came-
has to come from exactly.
right. And so when we recorded this in his living room, I was lying on the floor and with the microphone and just kind of floating around. There's some tracks on that album where it's just improvised. The looping one with my voice looping, that's improvised. Yeah, but this one, I don't know. It's more like I just kind of listen to inspiration. And let
Do you
me
connect
out.
with source?
I suppose I do.
In your own way, we all do. I hope
You
your
must.
source is good, kids. Got to replenish that resource. Okay, got to resource that source. All right, this is Delish and Let Me Out, folks. You can get the jams live, RCE and 106.cat and 106.9 FM. This is Delish from Lady Nikol and Let Me Out. We'll be right back.
Someday you'll find what you're looking for. Something to ease your pain.
Loves, and that was Delish, and that was Let Me Out, and something was let out at at the end too. Again, it's the experimentation that we love here, and thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing all that, because I didn't know about all these different projects and things that you've done. Now, here's a general question. When you're looking for, well, I should also say, you're not just, you've done film, you've done all these, you've done a lot of stuff with streaming and the streaming sites as well. Like you've done stuff with Amazon, you've done stuff with, you've done a lot of stuff over the years, over these last few years since you were a teenager. And when you're looking for a role in acting, other than a paycheck, of course, what is it that you look for in a character to play?
Strong and has some kind of shift. I love sci-fi, but I'm really into comedy recently, and
yes, which is another outlet that has come out in the last year or so. Hello. Okay, excuse me. You were talking. Let's talk about.
no,
comedy.
I mean that's I'm happy to get most of the roles I've said okay to, because I identify with the character and I love to work, and now I'm in a place where I've created this character and many characters within Fickle Eulogy that can also show other places that I can go to. That's a nice.
So there are touches of comedy in this as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I want people to go, okay, I can breathe, I can laugh, you can laugh in the, in grieve while grieving. I think it's a necessity.
Yes, it is, actually. I totally agree. In fact, they being scientists and doctors say that within 30 to 60 minutes after a good cry, the endorphins have been pushed up, and that you have this happiness factor comes in with serotonin and whatnot.
Yeah.
After a good cry, not just like, oh, that was a beautiful song, like a good cry. So maybe there's that as well.
Let us have a good cry every day then.
I do. I'm Latino. I think, well, there's an element of that too. Well, okay, let's talk about emotionality then, because you have a son. You have a love. Are they tapped into their emotions as guys, as men?
My husband, he cries easily,
Okay.
and I think that's wonderful.
It
He's
is.
one of 5 boys, born and raised in California.
The complete opposite from you.
In the 60s. The complete opposite. I mean, like a
Well,
numerous
you
family.
have 4 girls.
All right,
you have
yeah.
5 boys.
Yeah.
I mean, the opposite parents. It's
Yeah.
got to be interesting for the mom or dad that has, mom with 5 boys and dad with 4 girls. It's got to be.
His mom was wonderful. She was
has
soft.
to be. She's
She
a
was
saint.
soft. She is. She really is. I loved her. I love her so much. She passed away some years ago, but she had a quiet voice, and in her later years, she became a teacher, a
Whoa.
kindergarten teacher. After her sons were out of the house, she became a kindergarten teacher.
Because she needed more little noonies.
I know, and she was a good teacher. Anyway,
Yeah.
I said, "How does she keep you boys in line?" He said, "Well, she had her way. She could get firm when she wanted to, but she kept a tight ship in that house."
Where in Cali?
Riverside,
Oh, my nerves. Really?
outside of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. Because why do I feel like you were in Cali?
I was born in San Diego.
I mean, hello.
and
yeah.
I was raised up until first grade. We moved to Washington State, and so I grew up there. But my earlier years were California, and then we went to Hawaii all the time because my parents are from
You're
there.
Such a West Coaster.
I am
Oh my
oh my
God.
god, so
And so fabulous about it too, because it wasn't just the Cali life. You had if I can say, I think that Washington and in that area outside in Puget Sound and so many of the natural parts. I mean, come on.
it's beautiful.
I mean, let's be real. It is beyond. It's God's country.
It's
America, number one, land free, home of the brave, y'all. I mean,
He's gonna love my. It's
Sophie's face, she's like, oh, God, hell no.
no, no. I think you're gonna jump on stage and Fickle Eulogy. You're gonna see.
Oh, Madonna.
No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful part of the world. The Pacific Northwest is stunning.
Have you
But
hiked it? A lot of
yeah,
it?
I mean, when I was younger, we would go on hikes and go on the coast, and obviously it's a different kind of beach. There are pebbles on the beach. It's not the kind where soft sand and anything. But I don't miss the rain.
Yeah. I don't miss the rain.
But because Seattle is Seattle, there's so much good music and art that comes from it. But it's changed a lot. I mean, a lot of the cities in the United States have gotten really
Yes,
bad.
Lord, I haven't been there in so long, to be honest. Since
San Francisco's
Yeah,
bad
since
too.
20
I mean, I don't want to be a downer, but
no,
Wow.
Debbie Downer. No, but let's keep it real because
Yeah.
there is so much of an influx of people that move to Cali for work, people that then get stranded in Cali and don't have work. Specifically, Seattle and Northern California are rife with the tech movement and have been since the 90s. So
and you would think that they would be thriving, the city would be thriving, but there's so much homelessness now. There's the gap. The gap is
incredible.
incredible. It's shocking to see so many people living. I used to live downtown Seattle, but now people say, no, we don't go there anymore. No.
downtown LA, Skid Row, it's insane. In San Francisco, apparently, this is more fun fact, kids. You have to prove in order to get a new lease or to rent an apartment, you have to prove that you make specifically at least a minimum of 6 figures, seis cifras. You have to prove. So then you have uni kids who have to 4 or 5 live in one, and they each have to make at least 20,000 to prove that they can
Cover the rent.
And of course, that then provides people to move over to Oakland, move over to other places like Twin Peaks. But, when we're pricing out, California, where you were born, is the 5th largest economy in the world by itself. In fact, if you separate California and New York State from the U.S., China immediately becomes number 1.
Okay.
It's because of New York and California that we have so much power economically.
Absolutely.
When you see, do you touch on any of the weird socio stuff I think you made mention an hour ago that you do kind of touch on some of that in the play?
I do.
Do you get angry about it sometimes?
There are 2 characters
Righteously
that do.
indignant? Okay.
Oh yes, it's a way for me to express that anger and that frustration and that I'm baffled.
Your mother had more rights as a woman in the U.S. than you do now. As of what happened 2 years ago with the Supreme Court and drama that's continuing. Alito and Clarence Thomas, we're looking at you.
Oh
man! And the Lord will take them soon. But please keep Biden for
dear. I know
he's old. Just give him a line of Coke and put him out there. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Well,
I don't want to quote Donald Trump. It's a joke. It's fake news. Okay, kids.
What about blood infusion? What do you call it? What Mick Jagger does, the whole blood
transfusions
to
really?
renew
Is
the
that
blood,
true?
keeps them younger. I don't know.
Since we're talking about musicians, we'll go in a little bit lighter moment really quickly. But D-Kiss, the Discovery Kiss channel here, did a row of musicians who were pedophiles documentaries the other day.
Wow.
R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, I forget the other one.
What did you
When
see?
you deal with creative minds, and you've had to for years now, is it easy for you to separate the creative art from the persona of the person, like who they are?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it is. For me, it is.
All right.
Absolutely.
So you can still jam to Michael Jackson post bad.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Although, off the wall, it's like, pfft.
Off the wall. I mean, off the wall and Thriller for me, I have no problems. But
Sure.
I knew after Bubbles, we knew he went to kids. I'm just kidding.
How do you-
I'm kidding. I don't know. Monkeys. We come from them. Who knows? I'm just
How
kidding.
do we really know? But yes, I can separate the
We
artist
know
from...
because Wade Robson told us. He lied. Under oath, by the way. Just saying. But he lied. And then when he was an adult, he said yes for years. This went on for 4 years. That other guy that was silenced went on for 3 years. Now, Macaulay Culkin is the godfather to his 3 kids and is like tight with Paris. Love you, girl. God, I love Paris Jackson.
She's doing.
She's so badass. But it does make me wonder, like, how do you not? I would never play R. Kelly's music here. We've never played
Okay.
Michael here. One time we did, because a guest requested it. So
Isn't there another artist recently that's just not being?
Puff Daddy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Ooh,
And
that's a big one.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm going to divinate a divorce within the next 18
No.
months.
What? Well, no. I guess we saw that coming. I was listening to that album the other
Cowboy
day.
Carter?
No, the one that where when after Jay-Z did his thing and she wrote all these very personal songs.
Ooh, Lemonade.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I listened to that the other day.
Becky with the good hair.
Some good stuff.
It's
Raw.
Beyonce, man. Beyonce is,
I like her.
yeah.
I saw her in concert.
You know, she's another
She's a
Texan who went
powerhouse.
to New York, so I'm just saying.
She's a
Erica
powerhouse.
Badu, too. Love you, girl. Love you, boo.
How can you hate someone who's so talented? Like maybe because they're so talented.
It's that. But then, do we also live in an era of, and we have plenty of time, we also live in an era of mediocrity, don't you think? Where
mean-
that is celebrated and everybody.
Yeah.
If I see one more 12-year-old doing that on the street, I'm going to go throw him in front of the bus. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. I love children. They're all gifts from God.
Adults do it too, huh?
Yeah, it's insane. But at least those adults are probably, especially if they're 30, 40, 50, you know, working. They've gone through,
When you see someone walking down the street when they're looking at their phone, I'm sorry, I don't move for them.
straight up.
I don't move. I just go. You can run into me. Look up from your phone. Actually, you've written a song.
I say heads up.
yeah.
I say
I'm
heads
starting
up.
to. I'm starting to clap and go. Pay attention.
It is a thing. You wrote a song about this?
Yeah,
Why?
because
You had
it
to,
happens to
damn
me
it.
every day, and it's a comedic song. I have a bunch of ideas of comedic songs I would like to do, and maybe I'll perform them in the stand up comedy scene, because it's just come on. There's a
It's
ridiculous
ridic.
all over
Well,
the
this
place.
goes back also to, you know, why our Gen Xers are the way they are. Not Gen X, Gen Zers, excuse me. I
Yeah.
don't want to say Gen Xers, Gen Zers are the way they are. But when we're dealing with this era of mediocrity, I'm going to call it that.
Yeah.
Do you think that that is what's dumbing down part of the culture?
Mm-hmm.
Is that mediocrity has been accepted and everyone's a citizen journalist and I'm an influencer?
Of course,
Mm-hmm.
and no one is taking any effort into finding out what is true, and just kind of taking.
Well, fewer
it's-
people are.
Fewer
Yeah,
people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I didn't mean what I said before, but yes, it's just easy, quick entertainment and kind of numbing of the brain, and
Why
you know,
do we need to be so numbed? That's the
life is
thing.
hard, isn't it?
Life is hard, but they teach their kids here 222 on the clock. Life is hard, but they teach. I feel like too many Europeans they've allowed it to be too easy for their children.
I said it facetiously, actually. Life is
Oh,
hard because
okay.
life. I mean, of course, life can be hard, but in relative, you look at what's going on in Gaza. Is life hard for
Hello?
us?
Hello.
Do you know what I mean?
Amen. Amen.
But
But I feel like they've placated it to the kids to make it where life is so easy, so that we have this generation of snowflakes. You know, 1 in 5 new. Now this is a North American cifra. Okay, so this is a North American thing for Canada and the U.S. and maybe probably Mexico too. I know my Mexicans. And 1 in 5 new students who go out after post grad to go get a job take their parent with them to the job interview.
wait, what? 1 in 5?
1 in 5. Now, I do actually believe this is a 5-eye country cifra. Like it's affecting Australia, UK as well. 1 in 5 of these Gen Zers, you know, the 22 to 28-year-olds, are taking their parents to the job interview.
Why? Why? Because
Because
they
their
need to
parents were also going to complain about marks and their grades in university classes.
be, right.
This is this coddling, excuse me, gross, so sorry. It's this coddling of this generation that has produced over nearly 65% of Spaniards and Catalans do not leave their house until they're 32. 65%, 32. So if you leave, and I was talking to some business folk about this, you know, if you leave, as many Brits and Americans do it, by 18, 19, you start your life. If you're 32 starting at the same, there's just like,
Yeah. It's
What?
it's fascinating to see the.
it's scary. It freaks
difference.
me out as someone, because when I am 68, 70, 72, and I want to retire, I need these bitches in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s to be working the way my ass is working right now.
I think
to keep that.
I think we're in for a big shock. Our generation,
I
we
think
get
the
older.
Spaniards are in because the Bank of Spain did a research with the European Union that just came out last month, and they said that the European Union and Bank of Spain have reported that we need to triple our selective immigration by 3 times, triple it by 3 times. Hello, triple, in order to have pensions and whatnot for those who are Zennials and below, Millennials. We have to triple it because the average Spaniard family, if you're just starting a family and you're under 45, you will have 0 to 1 kid. But the average Latino, Asian, Middle Eastern family will have between 2 and 4 kids. And we need that to pay off pensions. Obviously, we need them selectively in the system, going to school, paying in, and all that good stuff. But we need this, standard, and not selective, standard immigration to be, systematic and. But it's necessary. And when we look at wealthier countries, they also have a tendency to promote more culture. Places like, not wealthier countries, but countries where they don't have this type of CFA, like the UK, like the US, like Canada, like France, like Australia. You don't have 70% of kids in their 30s still living at home. It's higher than it used to be, but there's still kind of this get up and go. Now, all of the countries I've named, with the exception of maybe part of France, are more Protestant countries, so that is also, I think, a thing between Catholicism, Catholic countries, and Protestant countries. But I'm going on and on and on because we're going to play a little bit of music and we're going to get back to some more questions. Because we can bitch about this for hours. I certainly can. About 2 months ago, we had a wonderful guy who has his his short film, which was screened at Sitges Film Festival. His name is Paul Miro, and he has released some great music. In fact, he's a great family studio as well. And this is one of the singles that he did not too long ago called Candy. This is a man named Paul Miro. And again, you can get that film, that short film is streaming. It's, the name. It's something Jordan. Pointing Jordan, on Film In. It's streaming right now. And you can catch his music, Paul Miro, like the artist. Anyway, where good music is streamed. This is Candy, another BCN artist. We'll be right back in 3 minutes. If my studio will play that song, yeah.
Candy.
Candy, you're a mystery. What you do to me, no one can see. Leave your hideout, forget your pride, soft as dry. Candy, no fancy notions, some flowers will get you through the day. It's easy, just let me try again. Sweet as a summer breeze, tough as a cold ride in February. Leave your hideout, forget your pride, start again. Candy,
Yeah, boy, and that was also Paul Mito, another BCN rep guy here, and also you can find a lot of his music also streaming right now for CABE, which is the Catalan Association of Artists, but CABE, look it up. They've got a wonderful CABE, CABE. Now let's get back to some questions, love, about the creative process as well, because like we said, you've been doing so much. Now, you mentioned a little bit ago comedy. The comité of comedy. Why comedy?
Oh, I love comedy.
Well, we love comedy.
I
yeah,
love to
but,
laugh.
I love to laugh.
And I realize I love to make people laugh too, of when people laugh with me.
Does that have a link that goes back to from when you were a little kid on the stage?
Yes, and I didn't
Seeing
even
people
really realize that until recently, where I thought, oh, I should probably just nurture that part of me. I've always been a goof. I've always been just being silly and making people laugh, and I'm like, okay, so why not just incorporate that into my art and my different means of expressing myself?
I'm like a little jelly because like I've wanted to do this as well.
But
do a monologue, and I know I need to do it because
You definitely should, because you are that.
I'm like so funny, you guys.
You are so funny.
But how do you and I trained for 4 years in an acting studio, wonderful HB acting studio. Shout out under the tutelage of Jeannie Kaplan in Manhattan. Okay, 120 Bank Street, kids. If you ever, great one. All of the TV and soap opera stars come from there, like Eva Longoria, another Texan.
She was just here.
Badass.
I auditioned for that and I didn't get it.
Really?
2 different characters. I didn't get it. So sad. No, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Women of Wine or something. See? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You did? I had no idea.
Yeah.
What is it like? Okay, well, hold on. We'll put a pause on that other question. What's it like when you are doing the audition process?
Oh, God.
Now that we're past that age of 30, barely, darling, just barely. What is it like when you do the audition process? Mine has always been easy piece. I've always kind of just been chosen to do it.
Oh, nice.
Or asked to do it.
That's great.
So, but auditioning has been, and the 2 things I did audition for, I did not get it. And they said, you were the last cut. We almost, but they went with someone else. They were always older too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the whole audition thing, I've done so many auditions recently.
Exactly.
So many auditions. And lately it's been a lot of self-tapes, especially from the pandemic. People can film their own auditions, and we had to learn during the pandemic, learn quickly how to film a proper self-tape audition with the lighting and the framing and the sound and everything. And so now it's just a regular thing. And in fact, I do more self-tapes than in a room audition. But I've had so many no's, and so many things I wish I would have, I thought, I'm perfect for this part. And no. There's so many no's. You just have to get used to it. And I think the best thing to do is do it and then forget about it. Although I have to admit, I keep on obsessing with some of them. And then when I see it come out, like this one with Eva Longoria, I'm like, who did they choose? I want to see this. I auditioned for a movie with Jennifer Lopez, the Mother. And I know who they picked for that. I'm like, okay, she's good. All right, fine. But, that's just what happens. It's like, okay. And then I think, why am I an actor? Why am I doing this? Maybe I'm not an actor. I should just do writing or something.
How would
or
you
write
answer
songs.
that?
Huh?
How would you answer that? Because it's not just the acting, it's also the comedian, it's also the musician, it's also the playwright, it's also...
It's just who I am, I guess. I just have to do it and not get obsessed with the things that I didn't get and just create my own stuff.
Exactly.
Like I have now. And so that makes me very happy.
Are you happy to have that platform here in 1, 2, 3, 4 on the stage, on the screen? Are you happy to have that, that process that you're able to do this in Barcelona? Because when you tell certain people, specifically from the States, that you're a working actor in Barcelona, they get that, ooh, Barcelona, everybody loves Barcelona. Are you happy to have that platform here? Do you think maybe because there would be so much more? I feel it would be a bane of contention always because there was so much more,
Opportunity.
traffic, opportunity there, but also millions more people trying to get that as well. And there's less perhaps in an English thing here. I don't know. You know much more
Yeah,
than
there's
I.
a much smaller community of English-speaking actors. So therefore, when all the different streaming people come through, and Netflix and HBO, there are opportunities to be seen and to be hired, which is great. I was hired for this Apple TV Plus series because I was based in Europe, the foundation.
Exactly.
That was great, but it's been a while since I've been hired for anything, so it just goes through all different cycles, and I think it's good, especially Barcelona. There's a lot more English-speaking productions happening when it comes to theater, which is great to see. There's a lot of growth, and that will happen.
Needs to happen.
But the whole improv scene and the stand-up comedy scene is growing as well. It's
Yeah, it is.
exponential.
Yeah,
how
it
it's it's completely exploded. So that's great to see. There's a lot of people expats that live here now, a lot more. But then also the tourists, they come here and they want to see something in English, and so they come out, and it's
Exactly.
really nice to see.
And I think that needs to be a target focus as well. Getting those to it because, well, let's be real, 50% of our income comes from them in this city.
So I took
We
a
have to be
taxi.
smart about it.
I took a taxi the other day. You know how many cruise ships come in every day, filled with thousands and thousands of people?
I don't.
Okay, so the other day, three cruise ships came in the morning. One of them had 5,000, the other had 7,000, and the other had 8,000 people. And they come out, and they
20,000 right
they
there.
just boom. They come out and spend their money in Barcelona, and then they go back, and then they go
The
out.
concern by some of the people in the alcaldesa aquí, in the mayoral office, is that the cruisers come in and they spend usually between 10 and 30 euros, depending on how much time they have. Where they want to, in fact, the focus, according to the news, children, the focus of tourism is wanted to be pushed towards rich Americans, North and Latinos, and Middle Easterners. Because they come in here and just drop the money. Even more than other Europeans and Asians. They
So-
want Middle Easterners and Americans.
So you're going to say, poor tourists don't come to Barcelona.
It's to make it more exclusive because they want to send the riffraff to the island so they can go get drunk there. Because I think a lot of our British and Irish brothers and sisters like to go to the islands, and especially the kids, when they're graduating. Let's go to America. Speaking of smart, you have to be smart. Smart Girl, another song came up. It's on the list, and we got a few more things to talk about. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Where did this one come from?
This one came from a campaign for Samsung, and it was through the studio Banda Sonora Original, BSO. And they said, they're looking for a song that has this kind of vibe. Let's do it. So we did it, and there's Smart Girl. So then I actually went to Madrid to do that with Paula Echevarri.
Yeah, claro.
So I was there with her, and I sang the song for all the press, and then she was there doing her thing. 'Cause she was the smart girl in the advert. So that was fun, and then that was that. That's why Smart Girl is Smart Girl.
And this is why it's Smart Girl. And it's all capitalized, SMART. So at first I thought, okay, does it have anything to do with the smart car? Okay. But no, because you just have to be a smart girl and know your way around. And folks, you really do. This is, again, Nikol Kollars with Smart Girl, and we'll be back in 3.5 minutes.
I walk alone, playing my own rules. I know what I want, and I want it now. Let's go now. They told me how to behave. I don't care. I believe in myself. I know what I want, and I want it now. Let's go. Limits. What limits? I'm a smart girl. A smart girl. Limits. Ain't no limits. I'm a smart girl. A smart girl. Limits. What limits? I'm a smart girl. A smart girl. Free to change my mind. To go most anywhere. Free anytime. Let's go. Get off. Get lost. I'm over you. I know what I want, and I want it my time. I know what I want, and I want it now. Let's go. Limits, what limits? I'm a smart girl, a smart girl. Limits, ain't no limits. I'm a smart girl, a smart girl. Limits, what limits? I'm a smart girl, a smart girl. Free to change my mind, to go most anywhere, free anytime. Limits, what limits? I'm a smart girl, a smart girl. Limits, what limits? I'm a smart girl, free. Change my mind to go most anywhere, free anytime. Let's go now. Let's go. Let's go now. Let's go.
Yeah, and if you've heard that before, it's because you saw it on commercials, my babies, and that's smart girl. Now, we have to be a smart girl because let's talk a little bit about that. When you, for example, you're about to perform this play as well, Fickle Eulogy. It's going to be, again, we're going to be throwing this out there, but it's going to be the 28th at 8 o'clock at La Tinta Roja in Puebla Sec. Do you have any muses for the inspirations and all the different things that you do? People that have really plugged in your alma, your soul? And then,
Yeah.
Please.
No, my absolute number one is Robin Williams. I think he was
really?
just
Whoa, I did not
just
expect that.
completely connected to something else. And bless him for living it, just openly and with all the hardships that he had. But then he was just always about having fun and making people laugh. I loved him. I love him still.
No idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. I always think of Mrs. Doubtfire when I think of
Hello.
Did you watch Mork and Mindy when you were little?
I did.
You did.
I did. I loved it.
I used to be freaked out by how hairy he was. I'm not kidding.
He's a very
That
hairy
used to
man.
freak me out. And the teeth of
Yeah.
what's his name?
Jim Carrey.
No, I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
No, the teeth of
Jonathan
Freddie
Winters?
Mercury.
Oh,
He scared the shit out of me.
Really?
Oh my god, I don't like Queen because of that.
no.
I swear to God.
I ca-
Bohemian Rhapsody, I guess, because of Wayne's World. but
he's one of the greatest singers of all time. Are you
can't
kidding me?
stand him. I really
But don't
can't
look at him. Just listen.
No, the music. I just.
Oh, interesting.
I do love the song with David Bowie from Under Pressure.
Sure.
From '81, I think that is. I love that.
I have songs that I hate that everyone loves, and
Okay,
I'm,
name some. Drop them.
let's see. Let's see if you get upset with me because you just said you don't like Queen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor.
Ooh, it's a bit. Yeah.
I hate it.
Okay.
It makes me want to leave wherever I'm at because I don't want to hear it.
Madonna sang that in her last concert when she was here. She did
Why?
it. And she busts out the guitar because she almost died last year, and she talked about it.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the nurses was there that helped her, and then
She's standing next to her?
No, in
Oh.
front.
Oh, okay.
I think at one point she made and sang it. And it was a very touching moment, but with a guitar and a slow
Okay.
version, it was different than here. But first episode, yeah, I get it. And there's so much good disco.
It's
anyway.
Raining Men. Come on.
Ooh, no.
Come on.
And I love me some Martha Wash. Martha Wash is the queen. I mean, we played Eric Red a little while ago. He knows.
Yeah.
Martha
I just
Wash
can't
is the
do
queen.
It. I can do it. I just can't. I respect. Okay. But
Okay.
I can't
so
do
there's
it.
certain elements of disco, of the cheesy disco.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
can't
like.
stand it. Can't stand it.
Do you like more, more, more? How do you like it? How do you like it more? Do you remember that one? She was a porn star. I didn't know.
Oh, well, that makes sense. More then.
Yeah.
Oh, that works.
And I know some of her work.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay,
that.
well.
I did. Back in the 90s, we had to
Vintage.
pass it, VHS to each other and like,
Vintage.
don't tell your dad.
Mm,
I
okay.
still- oh my God. Good
Yeah.
times. But muse is an inspiration. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's get away from porn talk.
There's so many. Musically as well. There's Stevie
Yes,
Wonder.
that's where, yeah. Okay. So it was Stevie. It was a lot. Again, you mentioned people from the 70s. Mm-hmm. Any
Love them.
rockeros? Any rockers by chance?
My favorite rock band is Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
I think
so
they're
Robert Palmer and the boys.
Incredibly talented.
Hell yeah.
And they were also tapped into something very special. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think anyone else has done what they have done. People, oh, how can you not like Rolling Stones? It's like, okay, I do like them, but I'm not a freak about them. I don't
Yeah.
go and listen. I don't listen to them, but I really, really appreciate the musicianship, musicality of Led Zeppelin and what they did in such a short amount of time. And
Straight up.
I mean, wow,
Straight the
good stuff.
I think it's that type of musicianship. When I see that, that's what promotes me. You know, we have a very beautiful, and we need to push it more and pay them better, a live music scene here. And
God.
there is exactly, and it needs to be something that the city steps in to help the artists.
Yes, I agree. I will be there too.
And someone who's talked about this, and we've finally got it on podcast, we'll be launching that this summer, Children of the Corn, is Tori Sparks. And I have been someone who has never been the biggest fan of flamenco until I saw her fuse it with her brand of rock and soul. And we're going to throw in a little ditty by Tori Sparks. And I want to come back after that and do a little more of before our goodbye about the show, where to get the tickets and all that good stuff. And again, folks, we will be throwing this out over the next couple of weeks as well on RCE and here at the Club with Lucas. This is Little Wars by Tori Sparks, who's touring through Italy right now. We'll be back next week. We're going to play next week, girl. Here's Tori Sparks. We'll be right back.
Try to give you what you need. You took all that you could. We both ended up bleeding out in this battlefield of love. There are no saviors, only soldiers in this private little war. No victims, only killers. Broken bodies on the floor. I wanna know. I need to know. Are there ever any survivors of those little wars?
Oh, yeah, children. That is Tori Sparks. My mouth is burning with ginger, and it feels so good.
Talking about Sparks.
Okay. Talking about stars, Nicole is going to be performing again. You'll be seeing Fickle Eulogy at La Tinta Roja in Pueblo Sec on the 28th at 8 o'clock this Friday of the June, 28th of June. But you're also going to be taking it into the third week of Fringe in Scotland as well. You're going to be part of the Fringe Festival, which is the oldest performing arts festival in the history of the world. And I'm freaking out. What? Because you just said this right before when my mouth is burning with ginger. Thank you for that delicious mint.
You're welcome. I always have.
This is Fringe, yo.
It's the Fringe. It's been a dream to go.
San Antonio, Texas.
It's been a dream to go and perform. I always thought maybe I would try to do a little bit of stand up there, but it's the Fickle just came out. They do have a venues that do a theater, but it does have some comedy to it as well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm nervous. I'm terrified.
I have to. Okay, I'm in passport renewal stage. Kelly, remember that's a reminder. We have to renew our passports. I need to get there.
Yes, you do. You should come. And another good friend who's a stand-up comedian, he's Scottish. He's going to be performing the whole month there. And then another friend, you met Aggie. She was the co-director.
Yes, of course.
She wrote a play, and she's got her whole cast. They're young, she's like 20-something. They're performing at the Fringe. The first 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, of course, Fringe Festival, you can just look that up. But most importantly, before that, on the 20th of June, you're going to be getting that good stuff and the real rehearsal and the real, premiere of this at La Tinta Roja Theater right here in BCN in Pueblo Sec. Yes. Like I said, where can people get the tickets? Is it through?
It's through Eventbrite.
Through Eventbrite and
Tinta Roja. You can go to their website
as well. And we'll be putting that up as well through. I'm sure, Nicole, you'll have that on your.
I have a website dedicated to Fickle Eulogy. I also have an Instagram as well, and then I have my own Instagram. So I'm shooting information off on both.
And we're going to be
Instagrams.
shooting out with her for the rest of the month as well. So folks, look that up as well because you can get all of those tickets online. And again, that is an Eventbrite event. So look that up. And thank you again for being here so much.
Thank you for having me. I love talking with you and.
Stream of consciousness and flow, girl. This is what it's been a big thing with my spiritual guides lately. It's just flow. Yeah, and seriously, we have just flown through an hour and 52 minutes. So again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, my queen, for being here. Until next time, keep things fun, as real as possible. I want to make a shout out because we just talked about as well improv. Oh, yeah. Queen Ella of BCN Improv Group is going to be one of our stars with us next week.
I love her.
She's going to be coming in. We're going to be talking about the big singing event that they have going on again. Okay, and it's actually kicking up a month before. So she'll be doing that interview as well. We'll be doing another fab recording of Design Meets Life with my beautiful queen, Kelly Ellis, as well. So join us, same bat time and channel from 11 to 1, next Saturday morning. With me, your boy here, Lucas. Have a great weekend, everybody. But before we leave, wait. There's also a band that Nicole, or another outfit, we're going to call it. We do all of our outfits called Sassafras.
Oh, yes.
And this song that we're going to close with, which is a longer track, is called The Underworld. What was Sassafras?
Sassafras is a two producers and me. One of them is Norwegian and the other one is Swedish. And we met here in Barcelona, and they're both DJs as well. And I wrote this song about the nightlife because I spent some years going out a lot in Barcelona, which is so easy to do in Barcelona. And this is my song to the nightlife of Barcelona.
Okay, and folks, we're going to close it out here. Folks, it is a beautiful Saturday. Make sure you get out and enjoy it. Remember that you are loved and you are wanted. Be kind, rewind, and besos to all you, my beautiful people. We'll see you next week. This is Lady Nicole and Sassafras in the Underworld. Bye. We'll see you at La Tinta Roja on the 28th at 8. Bye.
I took a trip to crazy places. I saw lots of beautiful, sad, sexy faces. I broke the rules. Defied nature, stretched the night with the best of them in the underworld. This city sucked me into the concrete caves, to the depths, the cracks of the night, twisting light, manipulating sound, messing with your sides. Get scandalous. Where I've been, what I've seen, what I've done. Thriving on sweat, thriving on blood. I drank the nectar. I became one with everyone. I was numb. Impulses, pulses, pulses. Impulses, pulses.